Hey folks, welcome back. In this video we're going to go over 4 worked examples to show you how to do problems involving prisms versus gratings for a white light source. Now if you haven't already done so, check out my previous video covering the theory on this topic, and that way you can apply what you learned in that video to this one. So let's get going. Question 1 is a multiple choice question, and it says the spectrum of white light from a filament lamp may be viewed using a prism or a grating. A student asked to compare the spectra formed by the two methods makes the following statements. Statement 1 says the prism produces a spectrum by refraction and the grating produces a spectrum by interference. Statement 2 says the spectrum formed by the prism consists of all the wavelengths present in the white light, and the spectrum formed by the grating consists of only a few specific wavelengths. And lastly, statement 3 says the prism produces a single spectrum and the grating produces more than one spectrum. Which of the statements is or are correct? Well, let's look through each one in turn and decide whether they're true or false. Well, that first statement, the prism produces a spectrum by refraction, that is true, and the grating produces a spectrum by interference, that is also true, because we can say diffraction or interference. The two words are sort of interchangeable. So that statement is true, so let's give it a tick. For the second statement, it's sort of two parts. So the first part, the spectrum formed by the prism consists of all the wavelengths present in the white light, that is true. And the spectrum formed by the grating consists of only a few specific wavelengths. Well, that part of it is false, because remember we also get all the wavelengths appearing in the spectra for the grating. So let's put a cross next to that one. And then the final statement, the prism produces a single spectrum and the grating produces more than one spectrum, that is true. So we can say here that 1 and 3 only are correct. And we can say the spectrum formed by a grating consists of all the wavelengths present in white light. Question 2 says a prism is used to produce a spectrum from a source of white light as shown. So we've got white light coming into our prism and then it's splitting into different colours on the screen. We've got the spectrum labelled and I've labelled a part X, and it says the colour observed at X is noted. The prism is then replaced by a grating to produce spectra as shown. So this time we've got the white light instant on our grating, we've got two spectra appearing at either side of the central maximum, and it says the colour observed at Y is noted. Part A says what colour of light is observed at X? Well, for the case of the prism, remember we're going to get red light deviated the least and violet light the most, so X must be the colour violet. Part B says what is the approximate wavelength of this light? Well, remember violet or blue light has a wavelength of roughly 400 nanometers. Part C says what colour is observed at Y? Well, looking back at our picture, remember for the case of the grating, we have a central white maximum, and then we would have violet light first, and then we would get up to red light for this spectrum. And then for this one below the central maximum, we would have violet light first, and then keep going to red light at this side. So that means that Y must be the colour red. So for C we can say the colour is red, and D says what is the approximate wavelength of this light? Well, remember red light has a wavelength of roughly 700 nanometers. Question 3 says white light is instant on a grating and produces an interference pattern on a screen. The pattern consists of a white central maximum with other maxima in the form of continuous spectra on each side of the central maximum as shown below. So there's our white central maxima and then our continuous spectra either side. Part A says explain why the central maximum is white. Well, remember in the theory video for prisms versus gratings for a white light source, we saw why this was the case. So at the central maximum, the path difference is 0 for each wavelength, i.e. colour. This means that all wavelengths of the visible spectra will arrive in phase and therefore recombine to produce white light. Part B says explain why the other maxima are in the form of continuous spectra. Well, this is because the different wavelengths of light have their maxima at different angles. And remember the path difference is non-zero for those different wavelengths of light. Part C says given that d sine theta equals m lambda for a diffraction grating, why does the red light in the continuous spectrum deviate more than the violet light? Well, we can say that since d sine theta equals m lambda, rearranging for sine theta, we can divide both sides by d to get sine theta equals m lambda over d, and then we can see how sine theta and wavelength are related. So we can say, therefore, that sine theta is directly proportional to the wavelength since it's on the numerator of this fraction. And just like we said in question 2 there, red light is a longer wavelength than violet light. So therefore, as wavelength increases for the red light, that means that sine theta increases as well, so that means that angle theta to the maximum also increases. That is, the angle between the maxima is greater for red light. Part D says how does this compare with the deviation of red and violet light when white light passes through a prism? Well, remember for a prism, red light is deviated the least, whilst violet light is deviated the most, i.e. the opposite case to a grating. Lastly, question 4 says white light is instant on a diffraction grating with 600 lines per millimetre and produces a first order visible spectrum as shown below. So here's our white light instant on the grating, we've then got our visible spectrum and the little angle theta labelled for that, and it's showing this is at the first order maximum m equals 1. It then says determine the angular breadth of the spectrum. And in the exam, they might word this differently. So instead of saying determine the angular breadth of the spectrum, they might say determine the angular dispersion instead. But it just means the same thing. So we want to find this little angle theta that goes from the violet light here up to the red light. So first of all, let's find the grating spacing d. So if we want to find d, remember we've got the number of lines per millimeter here. So we want to convert that into the number of lines per meter first of all. So we have number of lines per meter equals number of lines per millimeter times 1000. So that means we have 600 times 1000, which is the same as 600,000 or 6 times 10 to the 5 lines per meter. And then remember to find the grating spacing d, we can say d equals 1 over the number of lines per meter, which equals 1 divided by 6 times 10 to the 5, which equals 1.67 times 10 to the minus 6 meters once you put it into your calculator. And now that we have the grating spacing d, we want to calculate theta for red light and theta for violet light and then find the difference between the two. So we'll take the smaller angle away from the bigger angle. And if you look at my cursor just now, another way to think about this is that we want the angle to go from the central order maximum here at this black line to the violet light up to here. So this angle here to here, that would give us theta for violet light. And then we also want the angle theta for the red light. So remember this is red at the top of the spectrum here. So that would be the angle from the central order maximum all the way up to the top of the spectrum here instead of the bottom. And then once we know what that angle is for the red light, we can take the angle for the red light and subtract the angle from here to here for the violet light. And that will give us this little bit of angle left over, which is the angle theta that we want to find. So for the red light, first of all, we have that theta is what we're trying to find. The slit separation d is 1.67 times 10 to the minus 6 meters. The order number m is 1 since it's the first order maximum, the first spectrum. And we have that wavelength lambda is 700 nanometers for red light, remember. So that's the same as 700 times 10 to the minus 9 meters. And writing down our grating equation, we have d sine theta equals m lambda. Substituting in the numbers gives 1.67 times 10 to the minus 6 times sine theta equals 1 times 700 times 10 to the minus 9. Then doing the right hand side divided by your grating spacing d to get sine theta on its own, we get sine theta equals this value here, 0.4 and so on. And leaving that in your calculator and doing inverse sine of both sides or shift sine in your calculator, that will give you an answer for theta of 24.8 degrees. We can then do the same for the violet light. So we have theta is what we're trying to find. D is 1.67 times 10 to the minus 6 meters again. M equals 1 just like before, but the wavelength this time is 400 nanometers, which is the same as 400 times 10 to the minus 9 meters. So the only thing changing here is the wavelength for the different color. So writing down our grating equation just like before, we have d sine theta equals m lambda. Substituting in the numbers gives 1.67 times 10 to the minus 6 times sine theta equals 1 times 400 times 10 to the minus 9. So again, doing the right hand side divided by this value for d gives sine theta, which gives a value of 0.2 followed by lots of digits. Keeping that in your calculator again and then doing inverse sine of both sides or shift sine in your calculator should give you an angle theta of 13.9 degrees. So we have angular breadth equals 24.8 degrees minus 13.9 degrees, and putting that into your calculator should give you an answer of 10.9 degrees, which we could say is approximately equal to 11 degrees. That's all for this video folks, thanks for watching. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate it. Make sure to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.